and a group of inmates had taken control of one of the secured units. That was bad enough, but the 8 correction officers they'd taken hostage had called for the big guns. The NYPD HNT, the hostage negotiation team. Lieutenant Garcia, the commander of the team, had called her in, but even with lights and sirens, it had taken her nearly a half hour to fight her way through mid-afternoon traffic to the island. In a few more minutes, she'd be over the bridge and faced with additional layers of security. Some standard, some likely extra layers in response to the crisis, to get onto the island proper. Then it was just a matter of finding the right jail and getting to work. A low roar drew her gaze out the passenger window, and her heart lurched into her throat at the sight of a massive jet speeding directly toward her on one of LaGuardia's 2 runways, less than a half-mile to the east. The plane left the runway, banking upward at a steep angle to rumble ferociously overhead. Heavy vibrations rattled Gemma's breastbone as it jetted away from New York City and into the overcast sky. She crossed the apex of the bridge and coasted down toward land. Spread out before her, Rikers covered the entire breadth of the island in clusters of buildings, each contained behind rows of chain link and razor wire. On the far side of the island, a quintet of stacks from the power plant pumped out billows of charcoal smoke to meld into the low-lying cloud cover. Coming off the bridge, she joined a short line at the next set of security booths. When it was her turn, she pulled up to the booth, put down her window, and extended her identification. Detective Gemma Capello, NYPD Hostage Negotiation Team. The burly corrections officer leaned in to inspect her picture on her ID, then her face, and then the ID again. He gave a curt nod. "Go on through to the next booth." One more round of identification and inspection, and then Gemma had her directions. Stay on Hazen Street straight ahead and follow the road as it curved to the left into Hillside Avenue. The Otis Bantam Correctional Center, or OBCC in officer shorthand, would be on the left. But as Gemma closed in on the OBCC, she realized directions weren't required. All she needed to do was follow the emergency vehicles and flashing lights. It felt like every Department of Corrections worker and NYPD cop not already on duty had converged on the site. The OBCC was a frenzy of activity. People streamed across the front parking lot, and emergency vehicles, both Department of Corrections and NYPD, lined the roadway. Gemma overshot the facility and found a parking spot on the far side of the road near the western edge of the island, next to a small storage building. Getting out of the car, she buttoned her blazer and jogged back down the road, thankful for the flat-soled boots she paired with her tailored suits for just this reason. She ran along the fence line where it towered 10 feet overhead, curls of vicious razor wire twisted in loops over the top. 15 feet away, a second line of fencing ran parallel to the outer ring to dissuade anyone with hopes of escape. If the inner fence didn't tear their flesh to shreds, the outer one would. High-tech security could be hacked, but there was nothing like good old-fashioned agony to dash the hopes of anyone wishing for freedom outside the walls of the jail. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Gemma dropped into a walk as she arrived at the parking lot. She scanned the buzzing activity, searching for Garcia's salt and pepper hair among mostly younger officers, her ears attuned for any familiar voice, but the surrounding furor had an edge of unfamiliar desperation to it. To save time, she pulled out her cell phone and texted her lieutenant of her arrival. Seconds later, she received instructions to meet him under the trees just north of the main entrance. She cut to her right and, pushing past a cluster of correction officers, spotted Garcia standing with 3 other men with their backs to her. She didn't need to see his face to identify Trevor McFarland. His boxy charcoal suit, hanging drunkenly as if he'd recently shed weight too quickly, gave a